What is up, you guys? Welcome to episode 2 of the Set Up for Success podcast. And I have my very first guest ever on the show. I'm super excited to have my homie, Monet Davis, on the show. What is up, girl?
Just living life, Finally got an off day, but I've been working.
How's work been? How's it been
It's
for
been
you?
fun. It's been a lot of fun. I'm doing a lot of editing, some filming. So it's been something that I'm not used to, but something that I'm learning and, really enjoying it.
Yeah, what type of projects are you working on? Can you spill or you can't spill?
No, because it's fine. I mean, all the stuff that I do usually airs like in stadium. So if you're not out here at LA, you don't really see it, but I got to shoot in the well during a game. So basically, like the end of the game, the handshakes and everything. A cool project that I did that kind of stressed me out a little bit was the movie Elemental, the Pixar movie. It just came out
Oh,
and
wow.
they were collabing, and I got to sit in during the shoot of the players, and then I got to edit it. And it's going to be playing tomorrow inside the stadium, so that's another thing. And then like just like commercials of like
Dang.
teams that are coming up. Yeah.
That's insane. I'm super excited for you. Monet, do you know, well, first I want to ask you this. Has this been the first podcast you've ever been on, or have you been on a few?
No, I've done a few. I've done a
You've
few.
done a few. Because I was just thinking, I'm like, I've never really seen you have like super long conversations because I've been doing my research on you, but it's so weird doing my research on you because I just know you as like the girl who lives a few dorms down from me at Hampton. So it's just so crazy, like looking into all of the things that you've done. I'm going to be honest, I didn't know it was that huge because you're so humble. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you are so humble. And I just wonder, like, how do you have that type of mindset? Just like being so calm and just so normal.
Um, I don't know. I just think it's just me as a person. Even when I
Yeah.
was younger, I've always just been like a mellow, calm person. Um, I never get like super, super excited unless it's like something I'm really passionate about. But I
Yeah.
I just think it's just my personality. Like I'm just a naturally like calm, laid back person.
You are. When's your birthday?
My birthday is actually June 24th, so it's next Saturday, so it's a week from today.
Ah. So you'll be 22.
Yes.
22. Dang. So think about that, all of the things that you've done up until 22. Does that scare you or does that make you excited? Or how does
Um,
that feel?
it definitely doesn't scare me just because I feel like I've been surrounded by good people that they wouldn't let me just use everything that happened in the past to be like the peak of my life. So I've been fortunate enough to
Mm.
have so many people around me that want the best for me, and I got to meet so many people that want the best for me. So I'm always surrounded by people who are, living the life that they want to live and want to get me to that point as well. So I feel like I'm more so excited for things to come rather than like scared.
Yeah.
I know like right before graduation, I was talking to some of my, hometown friends and we were saying like how it's kind of like a scary chapter that, we're graduating
Mhm.
undergrad and it's kind of like the real world. Um, but like I was scared for a second, but then I'm like, you know what? Like this is like an opportunity that a lot of people don't have. And this is something that we can, really change in our life and really make things, bigger and better and get closer to our dreams. So I'm very excited
Yeah.
about the future.
I'm excited too. So let's just take it back a little bit, just for new listeners who maybe they've got a glimpse of you in the past. Just reel us back a little bit. What made Monet Davis the name that it is today?
Uh,
In
um,
your own words, in the
in
short
my
compiled
words,
version.
okay.
Yeah.
I at the age of 13, I was on a baseball team that made it to the Little League World Series, which is a tournament with 16 teams, eight from all over the world, eight from the U.S. in different regions, and my team was from the Mid Atlantic region, so like New York, New Jersey, Delaware, Pennsylvania, and I think DC and Maryland. I think those were like the
Hmm.
six that we had to compete against. Um, and we made it to Little League. It's that tournament's always aired on ESPN, and I was the first girl to throw a shutout and earn a win pitching wise in the Little League World Series, and it's kind of how people know me now. I mean,
You're
it's like
right.
the big like Monet Davis that people say. So
Why quotes though? Why quotes? Like, does
just
that
because like
title, like, I just wonder too,
I mean,
because you were.
I usually do
Oh,
that.
go ahead, go ahead.
I usually do that just because like I don't know, like it's like the people that know me, like you know me, like you've seen me
Yeah,
like walk around with pajamas on, like you've seen the real me, and like other people
yeah.
don't see that side of me, but like I still feel like I'm the same person overall. So like when people are like
Hmm.
Monet Davis, like it kind of gives like the way some people say it, it gives like a different meaning to who I am. Um, so I usually
Mm,
put quotes on it, but like at the same time, I'm still the same person that I've always been, and I've never tried to change for anyone, and I've never tried to, be bigger and better than anyone else. Like I always, like you see me during class, like I go to class, I go to all my
yeah.
classes, like I'm in sweatpants and
No, yeah.
hoodies, like just the calm person I am, and I never try to be bigger than anyone. So like usually when people say my name in a certain way, then I put it gives a different meaning to it.
The air quotes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I feel like you're so unique in such a crazy way, because I just feel like not a lot of people could have done what you did at that age and then still come out on the other side the same. Like, I think that's what is so eye-catching and crazy about your story is like I'm saying over and over, you are so normal. Like, you guys don't understand. For anyone listening, Monet is so chill. She's like the type of person who you could like, you're having a bad day, she's gonna stop and talk to you. She's real calm, collected, cool, and just an all-around nice person, a good person. So that's why it's just so crazy to me, because I feel like a lot of people who would have been in your spot would have probably took advantage of that. So did you kind of even feel like, I know that's you, but did you also kind of feel a responsibility to show people I can have all this and still be true to myself?
Um, I didn't have to like prove that to anybody just because I feel like going into it, like I already had this like narrative, like there was already this narrative, like there's this black girl, she has braids from the inner city, and like
Mm.
you would expect like I feel like I feel like nowadays, not nowadays, but like at the time, I feel like people would see a little black girl like that and just think like, oh, she's from the hood, like she's probably, grammar's not all there. But then when they see how well spoken I am, that kind of like takes them back, like, oh dang. So like,
Mm.
and even a family friend, like before like he knew me, he thought like he's like, oh gosh, like please don't embarrass us on TV. And then like he sees like how soft spoken I am,
What?
and like people don't know, like I went to private school since second grade, so like
Right.
it's not like I have to prove like I don't have to prove anything to anybody, because like the people that have known me all my life know that like I'm just, like you said, like the calm person. Like I try to make people happy, I try to make people stay, I try to make friends with as many people as I
Yeah.
can, because you never know what someone's going through. So just being a nice person, like it doesn't cost anything. But I don't have to prove anything to anyone except myself. So like I just
Facts.
try to do things for myself, and like try to do things to, put my family in a good place, and show like the younger kids in my family that like, there's things that we can do in this world that people say we can't. So I try to set a good example for like
Right.
my little sister, my little brother, even my older brother, even like my parents, all my cousins. Like I try to, show them like you can do all of this if you, work hard, listen to these people, don't follow these people. So I just try to prove things to myself every day, instead of trying to prove things to other people. If that makes sense.
For sure. No, that makes complete sense. And I was going to ask you too about just during all those years, because I had to watch everything. Like, I literally spent days watching you at 13. And, like, honestly, your demeanor, like you said, nothing has really changed about you overall as a person. So I just was thinking about, like, do you ever go back and rewatch those moments or look at those photos? Because you met some people that you admired. You had a big moment at the ESPYS where you won. Didn't you win like a BET award? And like, it was just, I feel like it would be a lot for a 13-year-old to just be meeting all these people all at one time. And you're going to these things every single day. And then I just wonder, like, now, do you ever just look back and like see those moments and kind of digest it as your 21-year-old self? Like, this
Um,
is what was, this was my life at a time.
um, not like I don't go and like look back at old pictures of like me in certain places. But like sometimes I get like yesterday, for example, while I'm at the stadium, we were just chilling and we were talking about how I was there. The first time I was there was in 2014, and they have like folders that
Mm-hmm.
have like pictures from like however many years ago, and we found the pictures, and I was literally we were looking through the pictures, and there was like a certain picture, and I was like, I don't remember taking a lot like these pictures, like I just don't remember.
Wow.
So like a lot of the things, like I don't remember just because like I was still so young. Like I don't even know if I had puberty yet.
Mm.
Like you know what I mean? Like there's still things that like
Yeah.
didn't like process. So sometimes like looking back at those pictures, like it sparks a memory. It's like oh this is when. Da, da, da. And I tend to have a pretty good memory, so like for me to not remember certain things is very rare. But
Yeah.
I think during COVID, I think that was the time where I got to like kind of sit and like think about all the things that happened and think about where do I want to go in life. And, like I said, not letting that be the peak. Like my baseball coach that I've known, who's like second dad to me, we had a talk in the car one time and he was just like, he's like, I don't want you to be that person that is, trying to sell like Sports Illustrators that's like, oh, you remember this girl? Like, this is me. Like, I need some money. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't want that to happen.
Yeah.
And that kind of scared me. And I was like, you know what? Like, I don't want that to happen either. Like,
Yeah.
that can't happen. So I've always just like, always think like, if I look at back at a memory, I'm like, all right, you need to make this little girl proud because everything that she has dreamed of, you're starting to, it's starting to come to life, and you got to keep going because you aren't done yet. So
Yeah.
some pictures I just look back and just laugh because it's like it's some funny pictures, some funny memories. I send them to my friends, but like I don't just look back at certain things and just be like, dang, like I really did this, and like I'm like
Yeah.
people say I'm really her. Like I don't. That's not me. I don't do that. I just look back, give like the good memories that ever come from it, and think about like, all right, where do we go from here?
Yeah. What that's what I'm saying, Monet. You're a rare breed because there's a lot of people who sit in their own vein. And I feel like that is what sets them up for failure because they reminisce on one good moment that they had. It could have been you've had several amazing moments that happened to you after one big moment that happened. And then it kept spiraling, more things started happening. So then what do you think about people who harness their whole life on one thing and they're just so stuck on it? Maybe they don't even realize they're stuck on that one thing and it's just not pushing them forward in their career, or they're just not able to advance because they're so obsessed with this one thing or this one celebrity they met or this one time that probably won't happen again if they don't move. What would you
Yeah.
tell them to do?
Um. I mean, it's not terrible to like look at those. I feel like you should look at things like that as motivation rather than like trying to
Mm,
reminisce and kind of be stuck in that point in time. So I would just say use it as motivation.
yeah,
Like if you met like one of your favorite celebrities of all time, one of the people you look up to, you know, use that as motivation to then, keep building from there. So that way that person becomes a friend to you. That person becomes a mentor to you and they help you out in life. So I mean just use it as motivation just because, you know, that shouldn't be the peak of your life. There should be other things
for
that
sure.
especially if you're young, if you have like if you're young, if you're our age, college below, even in your 20s, like high 20s, whatever, you still have so much
Yeah,
more in life to go. So like try to use that as motivation to push yourself to be better, to have these people, remember who you are. Like if someone sees you when you are a fan and you're like, oh, nice to meet you, you introduce yourself, little elevator pitch, whatever you have, and then later on in
Mhm.
life they see you doing something big, they remember you, and
Facts.
like, you want that to happen. You don't want to be the person that you see a celebrity that you've met already and they have no idea who you are because you haven't done anything since you met them. So like you wanna be
Yeah.
that person that they remember. So just keep grinding and keep working hard, put your head down, and do what you got to do, because I feel like, especially people like us, like black women, like
Yeah.
we need more black women, at the top that will, make the things go round, make the world a better place. So honestly,
Yeah.
just keep working hard. That's all I really have to say. Motivation. Use It's really self motivation. If you can motivate yourself, you'll be a better person. And if people have to force you to work hard and to people have to motivate you, it's. I'm not saying being motivated isn't a bad thing, but like you should
Yeah.
have some self motivation to make sure you get to that next point in life.
Do you think that discipline is more important than the motivation, or do
Ooh.
you think that motivation is more important than discipline? Because I find it that I get so motivated, like you said, to do something. And then it's like the adrenaline's there. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And then the next thing I know, I'm slacking a little bit. Then I
Hmm.
notice I'm slacking. So I know I have to implement the discipline, but I just always want to know other people's opinion on what do they think is more the priority. Is it the discipline or is it the motivation?
Hmm. I think this was talked about. I'm not sure where. I think it was one of
Because
your
I
events at
asked.
school,
I
right?
asked.
Yeah.
Yes, I asked
Hmm.
everyone because everyone has a different, and you were there when we talked to Chad Easterling about this.
Hmm.
And he had to think on it too because it's a very important question to think on, especially when you're doing something you really want to do and you have
Yeah.
every intention of doing it, but it's like you're lacking a little bit of discipline, but you're really motivated to do it, but it's just kind of hard to execute it.
Yeah.
So I just
Um.
wanted to know what your thoughts on, especially as an athlete, because I feel like you
Yeah.
guys have a different way of looking at those types of things because you have to train. You
Yeah.
have to do certain things, especially for you at a certain period of time. You had a schedule that you had to go to every single day. And do you think that helped you with staying motivated with what you were doing at the time, or was it just the sole love for what you were doing?
Honestly, just think it was just out of love. I know. When I first started playing for my travel team, I was 7, and
Mm-hmm.
my coach was hard on us. Like he was a hardcore coach. We had to wear, like, certain teams. We see certain teams with like colorful cleats if it was soccer, like all of this, but we had to wear like black and white cleats. So like we were disciplined at the age of 7 to a
Mm.
point where people thought we were older, but like we were still super young. So I feel like I don't even know how to put it, but like I feel like disciplining kids when they're younger will help them become a better
Mm.
self motivator as they get older. If that makes
Right.
sense. So when you
Yeah.
instill these values of working hard, um, you know, doing well in school, being a good person, when you instill that when they're younger, that the motivation kind of just comes later on in life. I feel like me personally, I feel like I was pretty honestly, I wasn't a great I was a good kid in school, but like I
Mm-hmm.
did I did some things that kids do. Like I
Of
got in
course.
trouble, whatever.
Yeah.
But like I just
Mm-hmm.
feel like having the love for the sports that I had, that I was kind of already motivated when I was younger. So at the age of like 8 or 9 is when I first started pitching, and I wasn't the greatest. When I first started playing, I was like the last batter out of like 14 people, could barely hit the ball, but I always had it in me that like I never wanted to be the weak link on my team. Like I just never
Mm.
wanted to be the link that held the team back. So I think I just think motivation was kind of already in me just because I was always about sports, that like I kind of motivated myself to get better each day. And then with the help of like my
Yeah.
coach having instilling those values in us, that kind of helped me become a better self-motivator. So I kind of think it goes
Mhm.
hand in hand. It just depends. Like you said, still like I could be motivated to do certain things and I feel myself slacking and it's like, all right, I need to pick it up. Um, but I think it depends on which route people think about it as. So I think of it as you have to discipline people when they're younger so that way they become a better motivator. If that makes sense.
I Yeah, I think that does make sense because I feel like you can be motivated, but
Hmm.
motivation kind of comes in and out. You know what I'm saying? Like one minute you can be like, "Oh yes, I'm going to be the greatest at this and no one's going to
Hmm.
stop me." But it's just like you're saying it but you're not taking acts every day to do it. So it's like talking really wouldn't match the action. So I
Yeah.
feel like that makes sense, especially like with the whole thing about you being younger at 7, being disciplined. Like at 7 years old, I didn't even know what I was doing. It wasn't like I feel like my parents disciplined me with certain things, but I don't know if I was disciplined in the sense of like for something specific, like a sport or anything like that. Cause I feel like I got into sports later,
Hmm.
in middle school and things like that. But what do you think has been like the most important lesson that you've learned just being an athlete? That's like actually a life lesson that you implement to this day.
Hmm. Um, it definitely, I'd probably say, I don't know the exact words, but it's basically like, do the right things when people aren't watching. It's not just about doing the right things when
Mm,
people are watching, but also doing the right things when people aren't watching. So,
mhm,
in the time of social media, people will, if they're trying to, give away money, they'll give away money and you'll see someone recording it and it kind of looks staged. But like, are you doing that
mm,
when no one's filming, or are you just driving right by people? Um, are you
right.
acting a certain way when, you're behind closed doors? Are you respecting, the elders in your family? Are you respecting your parents? Even are you respecting your siblings? Like, um, you can show on social media that, oh, I took my brother out to get, a whole new makeover or whatever. But
Mhm.
like on a day-to-day basis, when y'all aren't doing this for a video, how are y'all interacting? So really just, you know, don't just being the same person when people are watching you and people aren't watching you. I think that's a big thing
Yeah.
because when it comes down to especially like going for a job, you can put on a front during an interview, and then you get the job and you're slacking off. You're not a hard worker. Like
Yeah.
you gotta do, what I mean? Like you gotta be a hard worker both in front of people and behind closed doors too.
Yeah. Do you remember, and that's really good too, because I feel like, especially our society, like you said, I see that all the time. And I talk to my friends about this. It's just crazy to me because I feel like, I wonder, like you said, if the person would just do that to do it and not just to make content out of it, to then get monetized from it, to then grow an audience from it. And then
Hmm.
it becomes their thing. Like, is that something that you genuinely would do? But
Um,
how did you pick that up in sports though? That's what I wonder. Like, was there an actual memory that you had
um,
where
I don't remember an actual memory, but like my coach has told us that. So
mm,
um, like when we're basically it's when we're like when we were together like as a team with like the coaches around, like you wouldn't act out of order. So are you still acting that same way when the
mhm,
coaches aren't around? Like is the team still, you know, being, themselves? They're not acting wild. They're not breaking stuff. Um, so I just think it's just one of those memories when I was younger that something happened when the coaches weren't around. We got yelled at, and then our coach, had to talk with us. So it's probably something
yeah.
around there, something in that area.
Yeah, that's a good lesson. I can see that too, especially like in the sports game. It's just like you got to be completely honest and transparent with yourself and your teammates and your coaches because they're going to find out
Hmm.
anyways.
Hmm.
So
Especially if
that's
you're
true.
not healthy, if you're injured. if like we couldn't play, if we weren't doing well in school, we couldn't play. So like you had to do well in school, and if you weren't doing well, we were gonna find out somehow because we all end up like going to the same school. Um, so you
Mm,
definitely, I feel like at one point I felt like I was definitely closer to my team than I was to, some people in my family. So you
wow.
definitely have to be very transparent. Yeah.
Yeah. And you were like, so when you were playing sports, you were one of the only girls on your team.
Yeah, I was the
Was
only
that
girl. Yeah.
the only girl on the team? So, did you ever have moments with your initial teammates where they kind of felt like not outsiders per se, cuz obviously when you're competing against other teams and they see you a girl, they're going to be like weakest link. You know how they
Yeah.
try to prototype females in any situation. But did you ever have any conflict with your initial core team?
No.
Never.
I started we started when we were so young, so like there was never there was never anything where like they would kind of like talk trash about me per se.
Yeah.
Like we were all just kind of treated as the same. The only thing, like obviously, I had like a different locker room than they did, the normal stuff. Um,
Yeah.
but no, but there was a time where honest, and we talked about it, and that's part of being teammates, being basically brothers and sister, that y'all are gonna have you know disagreements, arguments, but it's all about coming back from it, and I think that makes you a stronger team and a stronger friendship. But we were at one tournament, and my one of my friends, he was just like, how are we gonna win this? Like, we don't have any more pitchers, and I was like what? And
Damn.
I wasn't paying attention at first, so someone said
Right.
it, and I was like, what do you mean? Like that's crazy. Like you say that, like I'm still here. Like no matter how hard I throw, I'm still gonna throw strikes because y'all are gonna play defense behind me. And
Right.
I end up pitching later on in the game, and I think it was like I only had to throw one inning through a shutout inning, and like I was talking my trash to him because I'm like you just disrespected me, like you've known me for how many years, and you just said that about me, like that's not cool. And like now, like
Right.
you need to apologize to me because like how disrespectful was that? Like you know who I am as a person, you know who I am as a player, and for you to kind of like not have that faith in me, like that's not cool. Like that wasn't cool. But we talked it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was heated. I was very heated, and he could tell. Even like my team, like the other teammates, they could tell, and they were trying to calm me down. I was like, no, because like at the same time, some of y'all heard him say this and probably didn't say anything. So I'm
Mhm.
like I kind of feel betrayed from not just him, but like the other people that were listening to it. But like we all talked about it. We got over it. We ended up winning the tournament, so like it was all good. But that was one time that we kind of had a disagreement where I felt like, they didn't have my back, but at the same time,
Yeah.
they still had my back after all because, they still trusted me to go out there and, throw that inning and help the team out.
For sure. And then like after all this, I that's one good I mean that's a memory, in that space. Did you think after like I mean that situation, but I'm sure like you were saying there's definitely other times where people probably like looked at you and like, "Oh, she's a girl, like it's going to be okay. It's all good. We don't have to worry about her." Then you make history and you do something that's never been done before. And then you have terms like throw like a girl, I mean, all these things like coming from you and you're inspiring girls. Was that your intention? Do you think that was something that you had in your mind, or it just so happened to be you were the one at the time?
That was never any intention. But like I started pitching at 9, so like all the teams that we played against since from 9 till really from like 7 until 13ish, even
Mhm.
beyond that, a lot of those teams they knew what I was capable of because I played against them for however many years. But when I first started playing, you would hear
Mm.
like you hear those questions like, is that a girl? Like, do they have a girl? Or why does that boy have a pink glove? Like, just like stuff like that. That it would be like the parents. Obviously, the parents said that the kids they wouldn't care. And then my coach would always be over, like he would hear the parents talking, he'd be like, "That's a girl," like, and or they'll be like he, and she'll be like he'll just be like she. But that was like when I was younger. So then once I started getting like 9, 10, 11, they all kind of started, they knew who I was. They started respecting me. Um, we didn't hear anything crazy from them anymore because at that time I was pretty much bigger than all the guys. So I was kind of, a little bit not overpowering, but like I was a little bit more developed and I threw a little harder. I was bigger than them, so like they knew what I could do, so they didn't want to talk trash because they're like, well, we can't really back it up too much. But yeah, there was really nothing like too bad that happened.
Yeah. That's good. And I'm sure you've had like so many girls get so inspired by you. Do you have a memory about a girl like seeing you and saying like you inspired her and other girls in the sports game to just compete with the boys and try out for positions maybe they didn't feel like they were tough enough to be in? Do you have a memory where you felt like, dang, I really impacted this girl's life?
Um, I mean, I'd probably say a lot of people. One that's like that I truly remember is because I played against her older brother in the Little League World Series. And so
Mm,
obviously she was there, she watched the games, and that whole team that I was close with that whole team. It was a Chicago team. Like we were close, we're still pretty close. We still talk to each other, check in on each other, congratulate each other for a lot of things. But I remember him telling me like his sister played baseball because of me, not because of him, but because of me. And he was like,
dang.
he was just like, she's more of a fan of you than she is of me. But like, I think that's like pretty cool because her brother is a pretty good baseball player. Um, he still is a pretty good baseball player. So like, for him to say it and for her to say it and their parents to say it, like that was pretty cool. And for them to like know me personally, so they know like they've known me since I was 13. They know me now, so like they've seen the growth that I've had, and for them to still be, still let their daughter be inspired by me is, pretty cool. And I try to give, try to give her some information, just like little advice and everything. But that's definitely one that has stuck with me, just because it's definitely a little closer, a little bit more personal. But like that's just one example. There's so many other girls that are playing baseball out there. There's even a girls baseball tournament now that's pretty cool. So I think more girls are starting to get involved in baseball, and I'm not gonna say because of me, but I feel like I kind of brought a bigger light to it.
Yeah. Do you think they're gonna make like a Monet Davis biopic, like when you're like in your 40s and 50s?
I have no idea.
And then who would you
No
want to
idea.
play you if there was, who would you think like would play you?
Mm, I don't I don't know. I feel like if it was like now,
Right, like let's say
um,
it was current.
I feel like maybe Stormy Reed. I feel like we're kind of the same complexion,
Yeah, she
you
is
know?
she is a good one. I love her. I just watched her
Yeah.
movie Missing, and I feel like
Hmm.
she would play a good Monet.
Yeah, I feel like
I'm trying to
we're like the same complexion. I don't know. There's not many like other actresses out there that are, young enough, um, that kind of looks kind of we don't look that much alike, but like
right.
she can pass if that makes sense.
Yeah, she could. And she's youthful. Like I
Hmm.
mean, she's really like young looking like us. So
Yeah.
I feel like she could pass. She could pass. Maybe they'll have to shoot at higher angles to make her look
Yeah.
smaller
I
or
think she could
something.
pass. I think she could pass. Yeah.
That would be so cool. Like I just know that I feel like your legacy is going to be crazy though, because it's just like you're going to do so much now. You know what I mean? Especially we graduated from the same school at Scripps, at Hampton, and that broadcast journalism can really impact people because now you can use your voice and now you can talk to players in a different way and talk about things from your perspective. So what do you think you want your voice to sound like when you are in the space of media and sports?
That's a great question. Well, I've been thinking about this because obviously, being an intern, people want to get to know who you are, know what you want to do, know what you study. Um, but
Yeah.
I'm going to grad school for sports management, so I want to be in the front office of a sports team. Maybe also want to own a sports team. Um, so like those are the areas that I want to go. And I just kind of want to be I want to be the person that, helps out, the kids in, the inner city and giving them an outlet and giving them role models to look up to. And specifically, I want to have a women's team in basketball and soccer in Philadelphia just because the nearest teams are like New York
Mm-hmm.
and you know, there people aren't fortunate enough to have a car or aren't fortunate enough to be able to take a train to New York to go see these women play. And I think
Yeah,
New York is the nearest soccer and basketball team for women. So bringing that to the city of Philadelphia just to inspire those, younger girls that, there is a league you can go to. There is a path that you can go to get to be a professional athlete because I didn't have any professional athletes that I could go and watch and be inspired by like, oh, I want to make it to the NWSL or yeah, there were basketball teams that the league was still the WNBA was still around when I was younger, but like we didn't see that much on TV. Um, and I just want to bring, those women to Philadelphia, kind of starting a program where these women can, mentor these younger girls and these younger girls can go to these games and be inspired and want to work hard and want to go down the right path to be just like those women. So I feel like
for
I just
sure.
want to help the city out, help women's sports out as much as I can because I feel like they've gotten the recognition, but there's still a long way to go. And so if I can help that in any way, I would love to.
Yeah, you will. I know you will. I want to go to our commonalities because we both chose Hampton. I know why I chose Hampton, but I want to know why did you choose Hampton out of all the HBCUs?
um, so it was between Hampton. I I reached out to Howard as well because this is for softball. So
Gotcha.
I reached out to Hampton, Howard, and then I think Bethune Cookman.
Mm-hmm.
And Howard at the time didn't have a coach, so that kind of just stuck them out. And then Bethune Cookman, I took a trip down there, but their journalism program wasn't like as big as Hampton's. And then at the
Mm-hmm.
time, Dean Plummer was still there, and it was the Sunday after homecoming. You know how that is. It's super dead on campus, like super quiet.
Yeah.
It was raining, and she came in and gave me and my parents a tour of Scripps, and like we had a talk with her. We like we were there for a good like a few hours, and that kind of like cemented me going there just because of not just of her resume, but how she cared for the students and how the professors there cared for the students. And then looking at the alumni that has been there and what they're doing now. I just felt like it was the right fit, and it also wasn't too far from my house. So if something ever were to happen, my mom could take the drive down, take a train down, whatever. And
Yeah.
then also the softball team. That was a big reason too because they were super welcoming. They felt like a family. Um, it was I just felt right when I stepped on campus. I
Yeah.
felt welcomed. I felt loved from everybody that I walked by there. They were all speaking to me. Um, they were all offering me plates because it was the tailgate. So like I just felt at home once I stepped on campus and having the great journalism program that Hampton has, that it just I don't think I could find a better choice than Hampton, really.
For sure. What do you think that I mean, you've obviously been doing things to set yourself up for success your whole life. But what do you define success as to you?
To me, success would basically be um, if you're happy with what you're doing, um, if you're living your life the way you want to live. Um, I feel like those are like the two main things that I look for to define success. I
Yeah.
feel like people will be like, if you're wealthy, all of a sudden, like, yeah, money is a factor, but if you're happy in life, if you're doing what you love, that's gonna come. Um, so if you're taking care of yourself, if you're healthy, if you're doing what you love, if you're happy, if your family's doing well, like those are the core things that I define as success.
Yeah. What do you think that if you could like see get a glimpse, like if you got like a glass ball or something and you could see Monet 5 years from now, what do you think she would be doing?
Hmm.
If you
That's
could tell. Or what do you think life would be like if you could imagine it? Cuz you're not going to know exactly what you're doing 5 years from now,
yeah.
obviously. But
I don't
if you
know.
could
That's
think about it
tricky.
in this space.
That's very tricky. I feel like 5 years from now, I want to have some type of like ownership in a team.
Mhm.
Um, that way I can start, building myself up to be,
Yeah.
eventually the leader, the owner. But also still want to have a TV show. Like that's my thing. Like
Mm.
I think that's fun. Like I've gotten to do some like content creation for MLB and MLB develops over the years, and like that's the fun stuff to me. That's the
Yeah.
side that that allows me to be the goofy me that a lot of my friends get to see. So possibly having like a TV show where I can show that side with some content creation, but also on the business side, being more of a, having some ownership in a team or, making my way up to, a front office position. So that's something that I would love to see in that little glass ball.
Why is ownership important to you? Like, have you always thought about ownership, or what makes ownership stand out? Because I see, especially nowadays, like a lot of people are really, really honing in on owning their things or creating their own things and not waiting for somebody to create an opportunity and just creating it themselves. So, why do you think ownership is important to you?
Um, I think it's important because I look at it as like a script of your life. Um,
Mm,
so like no one can tell my story better than I can tell myself. Um, so I feel like if you own that you can put it however you want to, you can do things however you want to do it. Obviously with ownership in a team, it's a little different. Um, I don't know too much about that area. Obviously, I'm going back to school, so I want to learn more about that area.
mm-hmm.
But I just think owning your things, it's what's gonna make you happy. So like for example, like the Taylor Swift situation that was happening, like she didn't own her masters. I'm not gonna go too in detail about that because I know her fans are very wild. There's a lot of them, but like she was going through a battle during those years, and probably still going through a battle during like right now.
Yeah.
So having that ownership, you kind of there's less stress on you. You'll probably be happier. Um, but just owning what's yours is huge because, like I said, no one can tell your story like you can tell it. So just owning what's yours is huge, especially in today's day because anybody can make money off of anyone. So you want to make sure that you're
For
doing it the
sure.
right way and you get the props you deserve.
Yeah. I feel like we're all getting pimped, Monet. That's always my philosophy. Everyone's getting pimped. Whether you know it or not, you're getting pimped by somebody. Like, I always think that. That's
It's like the
why I feel like
Weston
it's
Holding
important.
Ponzi scheme. It's like power, like the Weston Holding
No, for
Ponzi scheme.
real.
Like, yeah,
For
I could see
real.
that.
And if you think you're not getting pimped, if you have to think about it, you probably are. You
Hmm.
probably are. Everyone is. That is so true though, because it's just like nobody can say the things how you say. That's why I was so curious about you and your voice because I've seen your personality. I've seen it. Like, you are so hilarious and so cool. And I always wondered, is it hard for you? Because sometimes it's hard for me. Like, you see the way I act with you offside, outside of everything, right? And just connecting with people. It's different. And I feel like sometimes it's hard for a lot of content creators to actually show their true personality when the camera's cut on. And
Hmm.
sometimes I don't know why that blockage is there. Like, I try to combat it every way that I can, but sometimes there's like this weird, I don't want to show them too much. I don't want to get judged, or I don't want to say the wrong thing and somebody gets offended. So how are you like trying to break that? Because it's hard for me. And I wonder if it's hard for you to at least try to be yourself to the fullest capability that you can without feeling like, let me try to say the right thing.
No, it definitely is hard. Especially because I feel like what do they say? Like, I'm like an extrovert introvert. Is that what it is? Something like that. Like I'm
An
more of a
introverted extrovert. Yeah, that's
yeah,
right.
like I'm more of a introverted person, but like when I'm around the people I'm comfortable with, I become an extrovert. But I'm also pretty
Mhm.
shy. So like if I don't know you, I observe the room. I don't talk too much. I kind of stay to myself. Um, so I feel like
Mhm.
once like I have that in the back of my mind, once like the cameras come on, then it's like all these people are watching. Like that's when like the shyness
Right.
comes out and the me observing the room and knowing what people can do with anything online. Like you said, you don't want to say the
Yeah.
wrong things. You don't want to say too
Yeah.
much. You don't want to say too little. So it's just it's very hard because not everything's going to please everyone. Like I just did a podcast a few weeks ago, and the question was asking me like my top 5 players in the NBA, and I gave
Mhm.
my top 5 players. And obviously, I'm like people aren't gonna agree, but at the same time, these are the people that I like. These are the people that I think are
Mhm.
the top 5 players. This isn't the top 5 players like that I'm just choosing for other people. This is who I'm choosing, and I think that's what
Yeah.
people don't realize. And like, yeah, I'll go through the comments and I'll, respond, and people are like, "What about Giannis?" And I was like, "I said what I said. Like, these are my top 5 players." Um,
And you stand
um,
on that. You
right,
don't
like,
have
and
to.
I'm going to stand
Right.
on it, and I'm still going to stand on it because this isn't about you. This is me picking, but
I
it's
am.
definitely hard. Like, it's super hard,
Yeah.
but it's all about finding what you're comfortable with. Um,
Yeah.
like we talked about this, like we talked about like the streaming services. Like
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like if I have the people around me, like my friends, if I have them, then that's when you'll see a different personality. Like if I'm doing it by myself, I
Mhm.
like there wouldn't be too much because that shy I'm that shy little girl who likes to observe the room, and I feel like when I'm by myself, I don't really have too big of a personality. But when you give me my friends and I'm comfortable, then you see a different Monet. But like you
For
said, it's
sure.
hard. I have no idea how to get around it. But like we're gonna figure it out someday. But right now we're still working. So
We are, we will, because it is difficult. I try, especially, so the first episode, it was good. So that was my first solo episode. But when I tell you, sitting and talking to yourself or to a camera and trying to exude the highest point of your personality to people to watch, it is very challenging. And I just try to study the greats and see how they do it. But I'm sure it takes years of practice, because it's definitely not easy at all. So I want to ask you like a few sports related things. Not really sports questions, but just kind of like advice, you would say. So let's say that there's freshmen coming in to college and they're looking to try out on a team, or they're just in their sport and they want to make impact, or they just want to be the star of their sport at their school, whether that be an HBCU or any college. Then what type of advice you would say from just your standpoint as being a student academically and as an athlete? What advice would you give those athletes?
I would say you gotta, yeah, I would say you gotta love it. I think that's the number one thing is you have to love it because if you're playing a sport in college, that's most of your time.
Mhm.
And if you like, I'm not saying you can't do anything else, but it's a good portion of your time is dedicated to this sport. Then you have classes, then you have homework, and if you're a freshman, you have study hall. So really, you got to really love it in order to, really, if you want to play a sport in college. Another thing is the grades are important and making that connection with your professors and telling them that you're an athlete and letting them know ahead of time when you're going to be leaving and building that connection up with them because they are very helpful, and they sure do make a big impact on your 4 years at college. So, really doing that, and you need a certain GPA in order to play in games. Um, so I really say just I feel like time management is a huge thing. And then if you want to be the best, you gotta work hard. You gotta put in those extra
Yeah.
hours. You gotta sacrifice, possibly not going to certain parties. Um,
Mhm.
so it's a lot, especially being a, college athlete, and that's at any level. So it's really about time management, loving your sport, make sure you're focusing on your grades as well, but also you got to have some type of social life. So making sure you socialize with the people that are in your class, sit with different people in the cafeteria, building those friendships. Because I have a lot of like, yeah, I had a lot of friends on the team. Obviously, I could sit with anybody on the team, but like sometimes you need a break from them, and you need to sit with the regular students, and
Yeah.
building that friendship. So it's a lot that goes into it, but mainly loving it, time management, focusing on your grades, and giving yourself some time to you know you know giving yourself me time, really giving yourself time to
Yeah.
focus on yourself, focus on your mental health, focusing on your friendships, relationships, whatever. Talk to your family because 24 hours in a day at college, especially as an athlete, it feels like it's a few hours. So make sure you really take
Yeah.
full advantage of those 24 hours that you get.
For sure. You met I was looking at it too. Just especially like getting to experience a lot of your role models, especially like going into school. Kobe was one of those people that you met. Did he ever like say anything to you that kind of stuck with you as you matriculated through school and just being a young kid growing up and then getting to college? Like, did you ever get any memories or just some advice from him?
Um, I feel like the biggest thing, not just for me, but for everyone, is like that mentality, like having that
Mhm.
killer mentality with no matter who's in front of me, like I'm going to dominate you. That's a one thing. But that's like something that everyone learned. But I feel like I didn't
Yeah.
really when I met him, it was kind of like a it was like quick exchange just because it was his last game in Philly. A lot of people wanted to talk to him.
Yeah.
He obviously wanted to get to his family. Um, but I got to talk to him on the phone a few years before that, and I just remember him telling me like he sat his daughters down to watch me play, and like if Kobe Bryant, one of the best athletes that we probably have ever seen, one of the best basketball players we've ever seen, if he's saying that he set his daughters down to watch me play, like that meant a lot. And that meant I was doing something right.
Yeah.
And that meant that I was, you know, you know, on the path to do something even better. So that has
Amazing.
always
Yeah.
stuck with me. And then having that killer mentality in not just sports, but just in life. Like if you're going out
Yeah.
for a job with someone, you got to make sure you're on your A game. You got to make sure that whoever this is, I'm going to outwork you because this is something that I want. So really, just
Fact.
that Mamba mentality.
Yeah, for sure. My brother loves Kobe. So we always watch his videos and I'm just like, dang, like it's just crazy to even hear him say that to you at a young age. I know that's going to always stick with you. Like those core
Hmm.
memories are insane because it's going to come back around, you know what I mean, in some point. And I know that is a huge impact for you, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Um I have this final segment. and I'm calling it the Final Four. Since this is set up for success, I'm like, let's just make it the Final Four questions, okay? So the Final Four, I've decided to create it like this because you know Erica Badu.
Yep.
So Erica Badu, she had said something about the doctors that we need like in our lives, but they're not like actual the medical doctors that we go to, but they're just the doctors within us that heal us that we need. So I took 4, there's 5, but I took 4 of those, and I want you to give some advice for each category. It doesn't have to be super drawn out, but it could just be like however you would explain how you would handle the 4 categories, okay? So
Hmm.
the number one doctor that we need is sleep, obviously. Because if you don't
Yes.
get sleep, you're not going to be able to perform. So give us your advice on sleep, or is your sleep schedule even good, Monet? Honestly.
Um, my sleep schedule is not good, but somehow I managed to get my rest, if that makes sense. So like
Mm,
I do get a full like 8 hours. Um, although I might go to sleep a little later, I'll still get that full 8 hours. And then I think naps are
yeah.
pretty crucial as well. I think taking naps before like 2 o'clock is like perfect. Like 3 o'clock, you can't take a nap at 3 o'clock, or you're not going to be able to sleep, and then your
Wow.
sleep schedule gets messed up. So taking naps
Yeah.
earlier rather than later is definitely a big one. Um, and I'm just the type of person I could fall asleep anywhere. Like I don't know what it is, but I will. If I'm tired, I
Yeah.
will find somewhere to fall asleep. Like I was at a basketball tournament. I fell asleep on the hardwood floor. Like I will find somewhere to sleep. Um, but really just I think a big thing for me that helps me sleep at night is, keeping water and just like drinking some water, getting a little chilly after drinking the water, and like that helps me go to sleep at night. Um,
That's good.
and just it just like I don't know, I like to sleep with like one pillow horizontal, one pillow vertically, and it gives me like a
Yeah,
variety of positions that I can move to and just find the comfort
exactly.
that I need. But I just try to get as much sleep as you can. Those hours at night, those 8 hours that you need, like that's really crucial because that'll help you for the day that's ahead. And going to sleep at a pretty reasonable time will help you really really do what you need to do with the next day and really help you out.
Yeah, the reason why I was saying it like that was because I know, girl, we were in college together. So our sleep schedules were insane. Like there'd be times us going to Wawa, it's 2. We're back, it's
Hmm.
late. So it's hard for me to correct it now because I just feel like, well, I have the day. I'm going to go to sleep at 2 cuz I like to work, and then I'm going to get up, and but I like you said, there's some way I still get my rest. So that's good advice. I like that. So number 2 in the category for the doctors is diet. So I don't know how your diet is, but any advice, anything, Monet, because you have a good physique. You are an
Um,
athlete. Are you one of those people who like you could literally eat anything and still look the same?
yeah, I'll eat. So like the crazy thing is I'll eat and it won't be a lot and I'll get full and then like 20 minutes later I'll be hungry again. It's weird.
Mm, yeah,
But I try to you got to make sure you eat your greens. The greens are crucial, especially for your bowels. The greens are crucial.
yeah.
Um, but like I try to get some fruit, some vegetables. Um, obviously water is very crucial. Um,
Do you do the protein
what else?
shakes?
Not really. I'm very taste is like a big thing. So like if if it has like
Mm,
a small like off off taste, I can't do it.
yeah,
Like
I
I just
know.
can't
Me
do it.
either.
So like I try to do like the regular Fairlife, like regular chocolate milks that'll have like 15 grams of protein or something like that. I try to do those just because that's a little easier to drink for me.
Hmm.
Um, but what else? What else? What else? I don't know. I like I mean, I feel like rice is good. Like I can eat rice. Some rice
I
with some
hate
chicken.
rice.
Okay, that's weird. But like rice with some
How
chicken,
is
I
that
kind of like I
weird?
just how do you not like rice though? Like rice is like such like a it's a food that can go with just about anything.
I guess it depends who makes it though. I feel like
That's true.
I like a certain type of rice then because I don't like the ones where they're not sticky. So I guess I can't say I completely hate it, but it's not the first thing I'm gonna go to, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I tried to meal prep last year, like beginning of last year. So I had like rice, I had some salmon with some vegetables, and I put like teriyaki sauce and I like mixed it up and I tried to make like a little
Yeah.
like healthy little like dinner, but like we didn't have a kitchen in the dorm and like the air I don't want to put salmon in the air fryer. We weren't even supposed to have an air fryer, but and so like it was hard. It's hard in college. It's very hard in college
It
to eat
is.
well, but at least try to get some vegetables in there, some fruit, staying hydrated, um, and trying to eat as best as you can because um that's very crucial. But also exercise, where you don't have to run, you can even walk. Like I love walking, and towards the end of the year, like Alana and I, we would go for walks. Well, we
Yeah.
try to go for walks as what the time that we had, but try to stay, get that exercise in. Like that's crucial. Like I love walking. I can just walk. Like for no reason, I would just walk.
That's good though. I gotta start getting into it. I really, really do. Cause I like doing more like where I'm doing the actual weightlifting, I'm doing the actual movements, but walking is something that I feel like we just overlook because it's so simple, but I feel like it does actually make a huge impact. So that's good. And you kind of touched on exercise, so I'm gonna skip over that one. So that was
Well,
good.
also,
So
I'm
the
not a huge
last one,
weightlifter. I don't like lifting
really?
weights. I don't. And I never did. I
At
was never,
all?
I never, like, obviously when I had to, I did, but like, I was never a huge weightlifter. Like, high school, I didn't lift weights. Like,
What?
weightlifting was not my thing. But like, people don't realize that you have to lift weights, but also like get some cardio in at the same time to maximize.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're going for like a physique look, you have to have a balance of both. You can't just do one and not the other. So I feel like that has to go that goes hand in hand.
Yeah. That's actually so surprising though for your arm at that age to be strong as hell throwing that fast. I would have just imagined you like just like pumping iron all the time at that age.
It's actually more legs than arms. It's more lower half than or yeah, than upper body. So like
Mm.
it was more of like some squatting. Like I can do like squats, like that's fine. But like bar
Yeah.
squats, I don't like them. But like I could do
No
squats.
deadlifts, no none of that.
I mean, I don't mind deadlifts. 2 years ago, like during the summer, I was in DC and with five of my teammates, and we went to um our guy Whitey, who was like a strength coach. We went to him, and
Mhm.
he like taught me the proper way to like deadlifts and everything. And that was probably the one time, like that summer was probably the only summer that I actually liked lifting weights, just because I had the proper technique and I felt
Mhm.
myself getting stronger. And I wasn't eating right. I was eating dinosaur chicken nuggets every day, but like I felt healthier, I felt happier. It was just like a good time in my life just because I knew how to properly deadlift. So that I
Yeah.
like deadlifting. That's fun, but like once you learn the proper way to do things, it makes things better. So that was fun.
Yeah. That's true. Okay, last one in the final four is spirit. Dr.
Mm.
Spirit. And however you would advise people, because I feel like with success and everything, you have to feel connected with something in order. When you do feel lost or off track, you can go to spirit or whatever that looks like for you. So I just want to know your advice on the spirit aspect.
Um, I feel like it's okay to have like different emotions going through your body. I
Mm,
don't know if that's just me, but I feel like that's okay. Like, um, I feel like I'm not super spiritual, but like I can tell when like my like on the inside when I get like super happy and I'm not feeling
Hmm.
too happy. Like I feel like I'm kind of in tune with that. I'm not
Yeah.
very good with like expressing myself, but like if I'm not feeling the greatest, like I'll allow myself to like chill, sit in bed all
Hmm.
day, watch TV, whatever.
You allow yourself. I think that
Yeah,
that's what stood out. You allow yourself to
hmm
feel what it is that you feel.
yeah.
But
Like
that's hard for a lot of people to do that.
it is, but like sometimes like I feel like I don't know what's going on, and like I won't force
Hmm.
myself to do anything because like knowing me, if I'm feeling a little bit off, I'll get an attitude and I'll just snap on somebody for no reason, and I don't want that to happen. Like that's the one thing I don't want to happen. So like if I'm not feeling the greatest, I won't do anything. I won't do too much. I'll just chill. Um, but just allowing yourself to feel however you want to feel. Like that's like a
Yeah.
big thing. And if you're good with expressing yourself, go to someone you trust and express how you're feeling. That's really like the big thing. It's like allowing yourself to
That's
feel all
good.
your emotions and feel when you're happy, let people know you're happy. When you're not doing well, let people know you're not doing well. And even if you're not good with talking those out, allow yourself to chill, relax, put your comfort films on, and just, kind of sit with yourself and get yourself together because, we still have a next day, you got to pick it back up. So hopefully it doesn't last longer
Yeah.
than a day, but talking to someone is big, whether it's good, bad, a friend, a therapist, whatever it is. Talking to someone really does help.
It does, especially at our age, Mo. We put so much pressure on ourselves to like always be fine. And I feel like what you said is so key because it's okay to not be fine. It's okay to not have it figured out all the way. You just got to sit in it for a second. I had to do that the other day. My mom was just like, breathe. And she slept with me in my bed and we figured it out. And I just felt like that was so wholesome. And sometimes you just need to be comforted, even if you don't know
Yeah.
what's going on, just comfort. Yeah.
Shout out to Alana. Alana definitely she I don't know what it is, but like she like
She's a mother.
we got close towards the end of the year and she could like tell when something wasn't right with me. And I'd be like, no, I'm fine. She's like, you're actually not. Like and she's like, you don't have to tell me, but like you can always like and like I would go to her for like advice, just like I don't know how I'm feeling, I don't know what's going on. She's like, oh, let's you want to go for a ride? You want to go to the calf? You want to do this? Want to do that? And like she was just like super,
Mm,
like just one of like the best people I met at Hampton, and just super lovely and super bubbly, like always laughing. Like
she
you saw,
is.
like I would be sitting down at the desk with her, like we'd be just chilling, just having a good laugh. Like we just like bonded.
Yes.
Like we were just like we didn't know each other for super long, but like we just kind of bonded over that short amount of time that we had.
Yeah. No, Alana has a beautiful spirit, like for real. Like, if you guys ever in life get a chance to meet Alana Walker, God bless you. She is amazing. She really is. Like, I would walk in and see her too, and she'd be like, "You look so gorgeous. How's your day?" Like, she's just genuinely really, really nice and just beautiful
hmm
all around. So yeah,
hmm
that's good, Monet. That is really dope. And this is it. That was great advice. And this concludes our episode 2. We made it all the way through. So shout out to you, Monet. And let me know anything you want them to know about just how they can support you or just any last words that you want to say just to wrap it all up.
I feel like eventually, I'm not sure when, but eventually I probably will start streaming, because I feel like that'd be fun.
Yes.
I feel like that'd be
Yeah.
a way to show people, the different side of me, like that side that we talked about, like how when the camera's
Yeah.
on, there's this blockage. So I feel like that'd be cool. I'm not sure when, not sure on what, but I think that'll happen within the near future. So that should be fun.
Awesome. Thank you, Monet. I'm wishing you so much blessings and success towards you. Thank you for coming on Set Up for Success. And to everyone listening, I hope you learned so much. This has been an amazing conversation. And Monet, thank you for being my very first guest.
I am honored, and I'm glad I'm the first one because we talked about this.
We did.
We talked about this and I was rooting. I was trying to give you so much like advice,
I know.
information. I was trying to help you out and I'm so glad that you're doing it because this is going to be amazing and I can't wait to see all the success you get from it. And everybody that's watching, you got to keep watching because Sarah is a different breed. Like when she's motivated, when she's down to do something, she will do it and she has so much knowledge. She's met so many great people that, you know, she's gonna kill it.
Thank you, Monet. I receive it. I receive it. Thank you so much. And we will see you guys in the next episode.